Little bonding strip. This attaches the rear fenders to the back of the truck.
This is cleaning it up?
Just a rough clean. When the customer gets the part, these edges are all ground down smooth. This backside, he grinds the backside though to glue it. But these edges are all cleaned up. I drill the holes to put the screws in while it's sitting on the car because it's just easier to handle. But all along here are indexes, and you drill those holes out a 7/8 bit so that you can get the screw in to screw this to the bed of the truck. Now we need a little thin screwdriver. So I'm going to pry those things out. What I'm indicating here are little dimples that are in the part. Every time a part comes out of the mold, it'll have this dimple in it. So what you do is, using the dimple in the drill, you put the bit into the dimple and then start your drill. I work the drill in a rotation like this in order to make the plug a little smaller than the bit. It makes it come off of the hole saw a little easier. It's not as hard getting it off. Okay, before the tabs are cut off, front and back up here, you mark around this and underneath it. That way when you take it off, you have these marks. When you grind a little bit above it into the center of the hole to get bare metal, so when you glue it on, it sticks real good. All the holes have been pre-drilled in the body using the bonding strip as the template. So when we get ready to glue this on, we don't have to stop and figure out where the holes should be. They're already here. We've put an index mark on this front hole and one on this back hole. We'll use pilot screws to set the thing on there, so as you're trying to put it on, you're not trying to figure out where it goes. It'll just go there. 2 pilot screws, one here, one there. Then we put all the rest of the screws in. We'll put the bonding material on the bonding strip before we put it up here. Then with it on there, we'll bring it up here, put it on, tighten all the screws down, then scrape off the excess. Which you got to move pretty quick when you do this, because you haven't got a whole lot of time before the bonding material starts setting up.
Yeah.
I'm going to mix up the bonding agent, put it on this part right here, and then my helper here is going to help me, and we're going to put it up on the car, put screws in it, and we're ready to go. Once it's bonded on, that's it. It ain't coming off. You ready to go up against? Line your screw up, and I got mine. How are you doing? Okay, all we're doing here is backfilling it a little bit. You don't necessarily have to do this. I do it because I got the extra putty left over, and I'm a little weird, so.
Okay, go ahead.
This also fills in the gap to keep sand and dust and water from getting up in there and rusting this out.
Just got cut.
Okay.
Action. Okay, you want to take that in? That end fits the best. Put it on. There you go. Okay, down in the bottom. Okay.
There we go.
Best way to hold this
moment here.
You throw a knee up against here and a hand up against there. Okay. You don't have to push real hard.
I'm gonna cut all this out anyways. That's it. Here I go. Action.
Once the fender's put in place and you put the screws in it to hold it, then it'll come off. Everything will be cleaned up good. More bonding agent will be put on, and then it'll all be screwed in place. Once it's in and the stuff is all oozed out everywhere, you take your putty knife and clean the edges off so they're clean. Then when everything is completely cured, then you take a block with sandpaper. You sand this edge and let the block ride on here and on here, and then that cleans that edge up, makes it look like it was stamped at the factory. And that's the way it came out.
Shoot.
Once this is all cured and you're ready to do your sanding, then you take your screws out that you put to hold the fender in. Take them out. Of course, now you have a screw hole there that's a little bit on the jagged side. So you take a countersinker, you countersink the hole. You don't have to countersink it a lot, just enough that you can put a little bit of putty in there. It'll cure. Then when this is sanded off, you'll never know there was a screw put in it. But you want to make sure you use a bonding agent or adhesive or whatever you want to call it that dries. When it's dry, it dries very hard. It doesn't have a lot of flex left in it. So you use it to putty up the screw holes after they've been countersunk. Then you're ready to block the fender out and prime it.
Go.
Okay, what we're getting ready to do now is take the pre-fit fender off so that we can get the glue to glue the fender on permanently. So now that it's been fit, we know where it goes. We can put the screws back in it to hold it in place. We're now going to take it off to glue it. How you doing, Mike?
Fine.
Good.
I do lots of drywall. There ain't much difference. Well, you know,
Putty's putty, huh?
yeah. I've done a lot of body work. I do drywall. Pretty good at finishing that.
Any special instructions you want to give to me?
No, it's just get the stuff on and
Time is of the essence, right?
yeah, and you don't want to dilly of the dally too much because the stuff only has a certain amount of shelf life. And then
What is it, 5 minutes?
you're probably good for 20 minutes.
Oh. I thought it was 5. I'm thinking, oh, gotta keep moving.
Okay, now we're getting ready to put the fender on, and we hope that we got enough goo on there that it oozes out everywhere. We want it to ooze good. Okay, now once we put it up there, Mike, just hold it in place is all. Now you got to go around that gas fill, the gas fill.
Right.
Okay, go up against the car.
The top first?
Yep. Okay, and you're around the gas fill. Yep. Okay.
The top isn't. The top isn't.
Okay. I'll bring it down. I'll bring it down to fit. Okay, come on.
There it
Down
goes.
here. Come down on this end real quick. Okay, just hold her in place there, Mike. I forgot the damn drill.
There's one right there, but it's kind of powerful. I got it.
You got it?
I got fiberglass all over.
Okay, I'm backfilling the gap here where we have plenty of putty on the fender and on the body.
I'm just gonna let you do that. You know what you want to fill.
What I'm doing now is I'm just finishing this edge off with the bonding material, just so it comes time to sand, it'll have all the filler in it that it needs, so when you start sanding, everything will match up. All the radiuses and everything else will. Okay, right now we're taking the material that when we clamped the fender down tight, the material oozed up. So now what we're doing is blending the fiberglass piece into the metal. The one thing you have to watch is this fender's rolled. So if you, I'm going to exaggerate now, if you come in with your block and you set it flat like that, you're going to end up, it's going to look like a fiberglass piece put onto a piece of metal. You have to have your block at the same angle the top of this is, so that it looks like this just flows up and it was stamped into the metal that way. So the block has to sit, I'm exaggerating again, like this. I've tilted it too far, but you have to keep it at the same angle that the fiberglass is. Once you've sanded this down, this stuff is very hard. Once you've sanded this down, then you come in with a little bit of Bondo. Put a little bit of Bondo in here and do your final sand to have everything exactly the way you want it, because the Bondo will cut real easy compared to what this stuff cuts. It's very hard. You can see here we have sanding here, but we still have part of the bonding material on top of the fiberglass, so we have to go down far enough to where all of this bonding material comes off, and when you're done you'll have your fiberglass edge showing with a nice smooth finish like this. See, this is still hanging out over the fender too far. As you can see, the fender's back here, but the bonding agent's over to here, so this has to be sanded more until this edge here is gone and we have just a straight edge of the fiberglass. Then we've got it far enough. Okay, that piece of sandpaper's had it. Well, we're doing the corners here just like we did up here, cutting them into where they look like they're stamped. This is the slow and hard way of doing this with a block and a piece of sandpaper. If you had an air file, you could do this really fast. Because it's, anytime you can push a button to do something, you're better off than doing it by hand.